websites which are authentic also sell good ones. Okay, but my favorite place to pick it up, duty free stores. Okay, because I think you definitely get the authentic ones, sometimes exclusive ones as well, because you might get a 60 ml and then they'll give you a 10 ml free as a tester as well, sometimes on an offer, and those you typically don't get unless a sale is happening in a store. So pick it up from these genuine online stores. I think perfumery.com is one of the fragrance stores that I've come up. Perfume.co.in. The other one I already mentioned, Sephora. Okay, so they have their own authentic websites. These should be good for you to buy.
So then, what are the typical ranges in which these perfumes?
Interesting question. This is easy, but this, what about that, right? So there are good ones for people from different classes, different likes, and different affordabilities and different age groups, right? A person who is just getting introduced to fragrances in between the age of 13 and 15 really does not care about brand. They just want to smell good, right? But as someone who wants to mingle with a lot of friends, I think they are more conscious of brands, especially in a social circle where you talk of these particular things. Then you're more brand conscious, right? So ranging from 100 rupees, you have all the way up to, I mean, some goes into multiple thousands or maybe even lakhs on conversion, right? So you have ranges between, I would say, a 99 to 250, 300 can be categorized as one range. 300 plus all the way up to 1000 can be another range, and 1000 to 5000, 5000 to 10,000 depending on the designer fragrances then you enter into, correct? And there are good ones in each of these particular ranges. So whatever suits your budget, whatever suits your liking, I think that's fantastic for you to just go ahead and pick it up.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Is there any brand or any perfume specifically that the teens can use?
Watergirl, Nykaa, all of these which are the in trendy ones. Bella Vita, for example, or it could be the ones from Zudio.
Zudio, yes.
And how about West Side in itself? These I think are safe to go ahead and explore, not just for teenagers, but I think even for younger adults who are between the age of 18 to 22. It's a safe zone for them to experiment all of these, and they all typically range within the 1500 to 2000 mark, even if it's a 100 ml bottle that you're picking up. One of my personal favorites would be from Zara, okay, which has a plethora of options for both men and women, and I think it's pretty long lasting as well, and they have some amazing fragrances.
That's for all the teens out there.
Absolutely.
All right, that's amazing. So that was a bundle of information about perfumes, so which I really didn't know. I know I've seen a couple of shops in the malls which says that, you know, make your own perfume and all of that, but I think now it's the time for me to go and try that out as well.
Absolutely.
So jumping on to the rapid fire questions, right? A couple of them that I want a one word answer from you, right? Any household item that could be a perfume?
Straight what comes to my mind I think is Tulsi.
Okay.
Very safe.
Okay. So then what comes to your mind when I say Mogra?
I would say romance.
Okay. Sandalwood?
Sandalwood definitely is healing, and it's something which is reducing stress.
Okay. Lavender?
Lavender, I get mixed feeling about it because I use that mainly in forms of scented candles.
Okay.
Okay, but otherwise it also helps in mental stability.
All right.
Yeah.
Rose?
Rose, shouldn't it just be left as a flower? Okay. I would definitely say romance.
Okay. Can you name a strange place in your body where you can apply your perfume?
Strange place. I don't know. I mean, the weirdest where I would have tried spraying it on is maybe on my navel.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you relate a perfume to your personality?
Definitely. And I think if you're someone who's more chocolatey, someone who's more of that conversationalist, right? Fragrance which is more to do with families such as floral, which are more spicy in nature, which has ingredients like cedarwood, cinnamon. These go really well. Personality, which is more to do with someone who is into leadership roles, somebody who is into the top management, woody, musky flavors. I think that goes well again. And someone who is more into fitness enthusiasts, more into sporty fragrances like florals for women, of course, and also fresh fragrances, aquatic fragrances, mandarin, something like citrus. These are nutmeg, for example. These, I think, with that character of someone who's into fitness. Yeah.
Okay. One weird question, right? So, if there was a fictional character, maybe let's take Sherlock Holmes, what perfume would you suggest?
Sherlock Holmes, definitely, I would picture it as pepper.
Okay. Iron Man?
Iron Man, because it's, Robert Downey Jr., I think any fragrance just suits his personality. But yeah, I would probably name Bleu de Chanel as the perfume that comes to my mind when I think of him as a character.
Kung Fu Panda?
Kung Fu Panda, I would say, would be something more of a playful character, right? Boss bottled.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So, what is the most expensive perfume that you've got till date?
Oh, in my collection, you
Yes.
mean? Something that I bought for myself, which is of the recent times, is a bottle of Dior Sauvage perfume edition. That costs me close to about 12,500 for a 60 ml.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long does it last?
That's a good question. Okay. So, tagging that to how many sprays, right? So, 6 to 8 sprays typically is 1 ml.
Okay.
If you see the quantity measure. And again, it depends on the atomizer. What's an atomizer? It's this particular part that sprays your perfume out. So if you have a good atomizer, which are all like a standard in any designer fragrances, it exactly gives you that specific quantity each time you spray, correct?
Okay.
So how long does it last? I would say typically a 100 ml bottle, if you're using it twice a month for 8 sprays each on certain occasions that you want to use it with, it should last you easily for 4 to 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
But if you're using it on a daily basis, I would more or less give or take about 6 months easily. If it's a good brand, 100 ml should last you for that long. So don't be a miser, just spray and feel good about it.
How painful is it when you do the 1 ml?
Initially, it was more like each spray 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 300 rupees. Okay, it was more or like each spray gets you that.
Right.
Okay, but it's not really that expensive when you think of it, because these perfumes have a shelf life of anywhere up to 5 years.
Okay.
In general, right? So that is one other reason when you're picking up perfume, something to watch out for, because if you're picking it up which is manufactured in 2020, you have only 1 year to finish that specific bottle.
Then what happens? I mean, does the perfume lose its ability to be?
It may not be consistent.
Okay.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's harmful or risky, but why still take a chance?
Right, yeah.
Correct?
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
be safe, because it's important, because it's your body. Okay, you can't change your body, but you can change the perfume. Right? So that's why it is important to check how much of shelf life is left in a bottle when we're talking about sprays as well. And if I'm spending that kind of a money, I would like to have that for the next 3-4 years. So that's when you pick up something which has more shelf life rather than an end product which is coming to the end of shelf life.
Okay.
And it happens sometimes in a sale. Usually when they want to clear stocks,
Right.
they would give you sales because it's reaching its shelf life. Okay, but authentic stores, they typically at least have a minimum of 1 year shelf life before they themselves stop selling those particular products. Yeah.
So, what is one weirdest perfume name that you've come across?
I wouldn't know a weirdest, but something which I struggled initially is YSL. I only just used to safely call it as YSL because it was easy, because most perfume names which are from the from France are not very easy to pronounce because you are not a native of speaking French, right? So it's pronounced as Yves Saint Laurent.
Okay.
Right, so it's YVES. So typically, how are you going to be saying that? Is it Eve? Is it yes? Is it yes? Right, so
Yes is a very Indianish style of telling
exactly,
it.
okay, and it's not Saint as it reads and Laurent as it reads, right? So is this Eve like EVE? That's how you would say, or EVA, Yves Saint Laurent. The
Okay.
T's are silent, so I learned it out of practice, but I'm still learning to pronounce many of these.
All right.
Okay, Guerlain for that matter, or Louis Vuitton. Okay, the N is not really pronounced out loud, or Louis Philippe, for example. There's no, a lot of these letters are pretty silent. So yeah, there you go. And
Okay.
that in itself can be an exercise,
Yeah.
for people to look into.
True, right. So, okay, one last silly question, right? If there was an alien that comes on Earth, what perfume would you suggest, and what would you tell that alien? What is a perfume? How will you describe it?
Should we maybe simply just call it as this is Jadoo in a bottle? I don't know. And the moment you spray it, it is going to be Jadoo.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to create that magic. Okay, so that's possibly what I can think of, but I don't know, never know. 2050, you might actually start saying that this ingredient is from Mars, this is from Saturn,
Probably.
this particular combination is only available on Jupiter's north phase of the planet.
And maybe the aliens will be explaining it to us as well, right?
So yeah, possibilities
Okay,
quite there.
that's amazing.
Why and when should one not use a perfume?
Can we take that as one of the easiest way to reject a proposal? Because someone's just coming to you and then you don't want to accept, and you just want to make sure that you're at your worst, so that way they do not come and approach you itself. Okay, no guys, don't do that. Okay, I think it's very good if you can just communicate what you really feel for in a person, but that was on a lighter note. But otherwise, when you should not be using, specifically if you are in a closed cabin, do not be using too much of it, because be cognizant of the fact that you might give a headache to someone else. To you, you might feel that this is fantastic, but someone might be running a cold, someone might be having, of course cold is not an issue, they can't smell at all, but otherwise, right, there could be someone with some allergies, or my parents, for example, okay, they cannot take any strong fragrances, including something like a shikakai that you use right after bath. So you just pass through them and they start sneezing because they have allergies, right? So that you have to be mindful of. So do not use perfumes in front of them or when you're with them. Maybe you step out of home and then spray it. So it's good to carry a smaller version in your car, if that makes sense. Another time that you don't use is if you already know that you're allergic to certain ingredients, some rashes, or if it's place where you're wounded, please don't go ahead and use that because your skin is open and exposed. Okay, that's one other time I can think of. I think that should be more reasons enough why you shouldn't be using. If it is expired, of course. Okay. So if you are expired, yes, use the perfume. But if the perfume is expired, do not use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what would your top 5 picks be for men and top 5 for women?
The moment that question comes, it's like all the grey cells are working. Which one should I put? Because the other one is going to feel bad. You did not take my name in the top 5. Okay. So for men, as my choice, top 5, my personal collection, I've got Boss Bottled, which is the EDP or the perfume version of it. Dior Sauvage, definitely, which is the perfume, not the EDT or EDP. I like to project more of that. The third one, I love Yves Saint Laurent's Myself, YSL's Myself. Fourth, one of my all-time favorite is Victor and Rolf Spice Bomb Extreme. That's the specific version. And something on a lighter note, I would say Acqua di Gio from Giorgio Armani.
Okay.
Right, those would be my picks probably for men. Okay, and for women, They've got a lot of choices. Okay, so Gucci Flora is one of my go-to, which is a blind buy because all floral fragrances from Gucci, I think, are extremely smelling good. I like them. I like Coco Chanel is one other recommendation. The third, Victor and Rolf Flower Bomb, like how men have Spice Bomb, women have Flower Bomb. So I think that can make a good combination. So the fourth one is going to be Prada Paradox. That's one thing. And oh yeah, how can I forget the fifth one? YSL's Opium, Black Opium. Okay, so that's one. These are few which I would really love.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, what would you want your partner to smell like?
If there's that one special scent which is my go-to favorite, I think hands down that has to be Perfumes de Marly's. Delina is the specific fragrance which I really love, and I think it's amazing, and every note of it just brings back memories that I've had throughout my life. So that's something which is my go-to favorite.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As a perfume enthusiast, how will you put it across that, hey dude, you're not smelling good?
You wouldn't be direct on the face unless if it's your first circle, okay, where they know you can just tell them, hey, you know what, you just smell like shit.
Yeah.
And they take it that way. Seriously, is it? And they like it when you're very frank, when you tell them on their face, because otherwise they have to face embarrassment elsewhere. So this circle is very easy for you to talk to, okay?
Right.
Your kith and kin, your family, your partner, your best friends, buddies that you hang out with, easy to manage them. It becomes a little more difficult and complex when it's just a co-worker or an acquaintance or somebody who is just around you all the time, right? I would personally say you might want to check if there's kind of an odor or if there's something that's smelling. Okay, so you might want to.
You might.
Really? Okay, let me just check. That's something which they would really appreciate. The other simple ways, just don't make it, just ask their permission. Is it alright if I could go ahead and give a feedback? I'm not really sure how you would take it, but in your interest, I would just want to go ahead and tell you that there's probably some kind of an odor that's coming through you. Maybe you've had a long day or a tiring day, or your commute has been really difficult. I can understand that. Okay, would you need some help? Because I carry 2 perfumes with me all the time. You can't catch me without it ever. Okay, so I would lend if it is somebody who really is open to taking it, or they themselves would be carrying and they would just go ahead and do it. Yeah. But if there is somebody who is not really smelling good and you sense an odor, please don't hold yourself back. Go and tell them that. Okay, in fact, you'll be doing them a bigger favor and they like you more than the fragrance that you are wearing.
Now, I'm already a big fan of perfumes, and I think this session has taken me to another level of exploring perfumes. I think it was definitely a very informative session about it is often thought that perfumes, it's just another thing, but it is the thing, is what it is right now in the competitive world as well. So thank you so much for your time, Vinay, as you call yourself a perfume enthusiast.
Yes.
So that's a lot of information about